in that world, it was only been 28 days. Like, it has not even been a month, and they're immediately already like, we're not going to be people anymore. We're going to be the worst, horriblest version of people.
You have to give me like half a year before you start acting crazy like that.
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe. And we're the Ghouls Next Door. Talking about spooky stuff.
As we've been known to do.
Yes. And happy spooky season, Ghoul Scouts.
Yeah.
It's our time of the year. We've broken free of the earth. We were planted. And now we are growing.
I think it's also like our anniversary of starting podcast. We started in October, didn't we? So we're like, how many years are we now?
I think it's 9. I think it's 9 years.
That's crazy. We're almost a whole decade old. That's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Yeah. That's the longest I've ever done anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've lived for all this time.
Well, yeah. I guess being alive counts.
Exactly. Yeah. We this debuts season 9 of Ghouls Next Door. We do that. We go by the year as our seasons. And so this will finally be season 9. I can update my sticky note. That tells me what time it is. But for spooky season for October, we are going to be going weekly so that we can get you all stuff in a timely fashion. You know, throughout the year, we're bi-weekly, so we can keep up some of the stuff that we're doing in our lives. But for October, it is always a delight to bring exciting new things to you all. We are doing our zombies series. When sometimes dead doesn't mean done.
Yeah.
When the dead don't die, I think is what I put it as.
They keep go. They run slow. They run fast. Who knows?
It's all different, right? And it's never really about them. But we are the media literacy show from a horror lens where we explore the real life, historical, psychological, environmental, situational, viral influences behind our cinematic fears. And to kick off our zombie series, we are talking about the new film 28 Years Later, which is a long time coming. It hasn't been 28 years since it's been 28 days, but it has been pretty close.
Yeah, I was watching a video. It was like at least 18.
Yeah,
I think
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We and to kick off this series, we will have a few guests throughout the month to just have someone else to yap with and geek out about horror. And I'm really excited for our guest today. I just really appreciate like his view on films and how excited he gets about horror. Like I always hear a new thing that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
With my producer cap out on all the time. He'll be like, did you hear this? And I'm like, no. And so it's always really exciting to hear like what's going on in this like a very, niche genre space that, we've kind of carved out for ourselves. And so I'm really, really excited to bring on this guest to talk about this film. Also because I just like genuinely I'm telling this cat, I was like, I really want to know like what his take is of this film. I'm interested to see how we all feel about it. Because just like I think seeing some of the reviews and ratings, there's kind of like this like some people love it, some people hate it. So I'm just like, wait.
Yeah, some people are kind of like, no, it's fine. Yeah, middle space.
Yes, so we're going to introduce our wonderful guest, Erick Barragan. Welcome.
Hello, how are you, girls? Thank you very much for having me. It is an honor. You have been doing this for 10 years, and it is a long way, like already walking. I have been doing this for about 2 years, and like also doing podcasting, talking about movies in general, but horror is a big thing for me. Actually, I believe it's the genre that I enjoy the most and which I had the opportunity to talk with the most directors and people working into the film industry, actually. And I have a deep love for the franchise. Like this franchise started in 2002, 20 days later. and Danny Boyle and Alex Garland create this masterpiece. Now, a curious thing is that Alex Garland was not a director; he was a writer for Danny Boyle, and they work in a couple of movies. They work together well, but after a financial crisis and like a box office disaster with the movie, I believe it's Sunshine, they split together, which was good because Alex Garland became a great director of a lot of films that I actually love, including horror films like Men, recently Civil War, that for me is also a horror movie. So so I just love the chemistry between like a writer director and they are able to work together again. It is magic. But I can tell what part is Danny Boyle and what part is Alex Garland, because Danny Boyle is kind of nuts. It's kind of like a little bit out of the box. And it is kind of like a little bit hilarious, a little bit like life is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
For those who doesn't know, I believe the most iconic Danny Boyle movie is Trainspotting. And it has like a really bright like aspect in it. And I think it's a great movie. I enjoy it. I love it. But that's the tone of generally of the movie of Danny Boyle. It's kind of like, life is crazy and we're just in the world and we're dealing with that. And Alex Garland is a little bit more philosophical. It is like it is why. We live in a crazy world, but why? And I have been learning to enjoy a lot of the writing and directing from Alex Garland. How does he put his movies together? Personally, what will I say that is my favorite movie from Garland? I will say Men. Men is a very like really good, like rounded horror movie talking about like how women experience like machismo and misogynism and all this passive aggressive thing. It is just amazing. Kind of like whoa, it just blew me out. I believe it's a great example of great writing, and I remember like enjoying a lot during the movie like back in 2002. That movie was like it was recorded with a hand camera back then, so it has a kind of like a unique vibe, and it's really funny because a little bit after they like throw out the movie, they throw the show The Walking Dead, and the pilot of The Walking Dead,
very similar.
It is the same thing. After watching the pilot, I'm like, I watched 28 days later. So
he wakes up in the same thing. He comes in, finds out things are different. He won't admit it, but Kirkland definitely, it had come out before him, so he had to have some influence. And I mean, there was just already, even before The Walking Dead, there was already so much like zombie lore in media. Like 28 Days Later was really like a revival of that subgenre. Because before, we had like Romero and we had some of those classic like the shambling zombies and things like that. And we have the revival of it where we were seeing the fast ones. We were seeing how can we make them even more terrifying. And I think like something that always drew me to zombie films specifically, as exciting and fun as like the zombies themselves are, they always are like really interesting, even when they're kind of the same thing. It's always just like the humanity part of it. And I think for me, when we're talking about like apocalypses like this one, where pretty much all of our like societal structures have fallen, something that I was like kind of looking for actually in the film, and I was excited to see that it was one of the core parts of it, was that there are other horrors too, right? There are other fears. There's other worries. And like, I give a lot of credit, honestly, to Stephen King's The Stand for like having that viral apocalypse where people were dying of this like illness. But really what he has like chapters upon chapters of people dying just because we don't have safety things, right? Like a boy falls in a hole, breaks his leg. nobody's there to get him, like those kinds of things. And so like this, where like a core element of it is like when we don't have the systems that we have in place, like it's one thing that there's zombies out there trying to eat you, right? But we've kind of gotten over that. We're used to that. It's 28 years later. That's someone's whole life, right? Yeah. And what is still a really terrifying thing is that cancer is still here, or that illness, mental illness, that toxic masculinity, right? And that war and some of these things that like were core before this apocalypse are still there.
Probably exacerbated too, because they're just worse because we don't have modern medicine or like any sort of support services to like, if you go out, you're gone. Like no one comes to rescue you. Right. Everyone's very isolated instead of, I don't know, ACAB, but like still, I don't know, people aren't going to be able to come get you, which is definitely makes it scarier.
Yeah, I also think it's like the they're still in the fight or flight part of like panic, right? They're still in it, like they're still in survival mode, and so as long as you're in survival mode, you can't then like expand your knowledge, right? We cannot make things like, we can't heal. We can't like put in these structures to support each other, like past just the healing parts. Like we're just putting Band-Aids on things and moving forward. And I think that's really interesting in it. Before we super hop into it, because I love where we're going with this, I will let people know what 28 Years Later is about. So this is a sequel to 28 Days Later. There is 28 Weeks Later, but this is more or less kind of ignoring that happens because in this one, like, the whole place is closed off, and in 28 Weeks Later it was like we opened it again. So,
the US came in and saved everybody.
Classic us doing that. Right? So here's what 28 Years Later is about. It is from 2025 this year. A group of survivors of the rage virus live on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors. Which is a pretty rad way to describe what happens in this film.
Yeah, I will say 28 Weeks Later is still part of the series, because I was watching some part of the movie yesterday, and there are like shots about like when they were like there is like a really good scene on the sequel where they like snipering like some zombies. And those shots of that's a scene appears like in there is a sequence when they're leaving the town, and you can see those kind of shots,
like with all the war, and then you get like the little flash backwards to them in like U.S. occupation shooting the zombies.
Yes, yeah. And it's really funny that when you started, you mentioned a lot of different subgenders of zombies, and I believe there is like a thing like a socialist zombies. I don't know if you had the chance to watch Juan de los Muertos. Like it's a jewel. It's a zombie apocalypse in Cuba, and the Cubans thinks they are like the USA, like invading Cuba. It is really funny. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a really good recommendation. If you can watch Juan de los Muertos, it's a good one. But overall, what you were mentioning, like usually in a zombie apocalypse, it marks like the mistakes and the problems with all like the systems that we have. Doesn't matter left or right. It just exposes the vulnerabilities of society. So in here, basically, they live in a commune, and that's what it is, you know? So I like it. You mentioned also toxic masculinity, and I remember the first movie, it was kind of like everybody's trying to say whatever. In here, the movie like starts with a father. Well, the movie starts with a kid running from the day zero. It starts in the day zero back in London. And this little kid called Jimmy, it is really important to remember the name Jimmy, because that's key for a lot of things. It comes back up. It comes back up. The name is the most important thing of that character. So Jimmy just escapes and runs out, and he goes with his father, who is a priest. And the priest, instead of saying run, save, the priest believes it's kind of like the retconning And he just said like, "Well, you should be happy because you are going with God." He said like, "No."
And, we're all getting eaten by zombies.
I just watched my mom get eaten. I don't think that's fun.
Yeah.
Which is something really funny because if he's like a Catholic priest, why there is a mom? So the priest give like the cross to Jimmy, and Jimmy just hide. And then we jump like 28 years after that situation, and we meet Spike. By the way, Spike, the actor Alfie Williams, I believe is his debut as a major role.
He was great.
He did really great.
That kid like kick ass, like it is amazing. And I have like really, I just finished to watch Adolescence, which has also really good like kids acting, and he was really like on the over the top. So
awesome.
There are like really two parallels between like Spike and Jimmy. Jimmy grew up in the wild and grow up like there is just nature with him. And we don't see
Lord
him.
of the Flies.
Yeah. Get a Lord of the Flies. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And Spike grew up with his family, and his father loves him. Her mother loved him. He grew up like in this kind of like kind nature. And the first thing that he grabs is like a parallel to Jimmy. Jimmy was
like a Power Ranger.
Yeah, the Power Ranger. Loves the Power Ranger. And he holds it, and he's a kid, and he after that he leaves the Power Ranger home, and he becomes a man at a really young age.
He was like 12. He was very young. Because I think it was like he was supposed to be like 14, and that's why his mom was like, "You're a child murderer, because you're stealing my baby." He's literally like,
you're
11.
ending his childhood. Yeah,
like you're stealing my baby.
Wait 2 years.
I just wanted to say, so I'm sure everyone had like a moment in the end where you're seeing Jimmy and his like Teletubby ninja friends, and I was like watching it, and I like was sitting there and I was like, what? I was trying to make it make sense, and then I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, did he have the Power Ranger? And I was like, no, he had the Teletubbies, which is like a different thing. And I was just like, but the kid had the Power Rangers. Like, that would make way more sense for them to like flipping around.
Watching Power Rangers,
and they were color coded. Like, I was like, the Teletubbies didn't do that. They had they had a TV in their tummy and they watched it, and Son laughed. I don't know why he's doing this, but I do like what you're saying, Eric, of like this idea of like a nature versus nurture, right? Like he's out there, he is stunted in his growth. Like he's stuck as this like young boy, because that's when his like world changed. He like was forced into like survival mode and has been that. And so like, of course, his like idea of strength is this very comical, like 80s TV show level nonsense. And it just so happens to work, right? Versus like Spike, who is actively also having his growth stunted because he's being forced to grow up. Like he is like having to skip the stages of like being a kid. And so I think it will be really interesting to see in the next one him interacting with Jimmy, who is like a very childish adult.
Like they're mentally the same age. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like he's a childish adult, whereas Spike is an adultish child.
Yeah.
So, and that's like, again, it a testament to like how they were growing up and the different ways that like survival was, because he was born into this. This is all he's ever known.
And like the resilience of humanity, of like seeing like how he's even just like quicker to be like, okay, I am horrified by this, but also like I this is just what my life has always been. So this is what we got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really,
the kids were interesting.
And it's really funny because while you watch the movie, there are different sides of Jimmy. Like the guy who is hanging out, there are like Jimmy's things. But the most scary thing is what they don't tell you, because when I saw the end is, what does that mean? And I look for like, what is Jimmy? Because there is the history of a real life monster called Jimmy
Savile. Yeah.
Jimmy Savile. And he was a child predator. And he was something like, what is the uncle? The guy with the red sweater, I forgot the name. My Neighbor.
Like a Mr. Rogers.
Like English Mr. Rogers, but in they scratched it out, and he was knighted by the queen and everything. They found like a monster, and and they even take out his grave from like it is a thing, and it is like a kid who rolled with any morals or ethics. He just real like roots like strength and force, and that's all that he knew. And another character that we have to talk about like toxic masculinity, because you mentioned it. It is like Jamie, the character played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson do a great work.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, his actor.
I think he did really great in like Nosferatu too. I was like, he don't business being this hot after Kick-Ass. Like, I don't get it.
Talking about Nosferatu, there is a big thing in the scene, and we have to acknowledge. There are scenes of like nudity scene, and like the alpha when you see the screen, wow, that was necessary, and that's really like part of the thing, like toxic masculinity. That we saw the alpha running with a huge like card. It's kind of like insane, right? But
it was so unnecessary.
It was unnecessary, and like they mentioned like in the behind the scenes that it's not a real thing, but it is kind of like a scary thing, right?
It was jump scare. It was definitely a jump scare, and I mean, like for me, like I get what he was trying to do with the existence of the alphas, or the existence of like at least like smarter zombies. Like it would be ridiculous to think like if 28 years later they have continued to adapt, that they would
the virus would mutate from being
especially when it's a rage virus, right? It's not the same as like the clickers in Last of Us, right? It's not exactly the same as that, where it is like a complete like taking over of your mind. This is a rage virus. It's like enhancing some of those like sinister thoughts and uncontrollable urges. So like the idea that those parts of you might still remain to like evolve and grow and become stronger and smarter, for sure. I get that.
The epitome of toxic masculinity.
Right. And I get that too. Like I think it's super important that like there is this like disgustingly masculine creature that's like hunting them, and that's like a real pure fear. Like I think given Garland's history with men, right, like that he has like feelings. Same thing with Ex Machina. He's like, men ain't shit. He definitely like he'd be saying that. I will say that. And with Jamie, right? But I think like for me, such a thing that like immediately turns me off when it comes to film, like a trope that comes up, is this idea of alphas, because it's not real. Like it's scientifically disproven that wolves have alphas. That's not true. They're in a pack and they take care of each other. There is no alpha. And so like when
the guy who wrote the book about it like has gone through extensive lengths to disprove the existence of alphas. So it's just funny. I'm like, let them die. It's
right.
Okay.
And I get like the only like reason I could allow this alpha is because it's not like a beneficial thing that he exists and that he's an alpha. And because the fact that Jamie
he doesn't
exists,
look happy about it.
he's just existing. He's just smart.
He just like spines and heads and whatever.
It was a choice. There was a lot of choices were made in this film. But I think like having Jamie and the fact that like this is such a core part for Spike to like, he went on this trip with his father. It was really jarring for him. It was absolutely like earth shattering to like his understanding of the world, his like just core decency, and like he's a little boy, and so he was genuinely scared. And he comes back and his dad's making up all these stories to get glory, and he's drinking, and he's like, he's just really milking it, and then he's cheating on his mom who is dying, and like it's the sweetest thing. So like it is really a core component of this for Spike to see that like again, men ain't shit. Alex Garland.
Hasn't been
and like
disappointed
that,
by a dad is what this film says.
right. I'd rather be raised by the woods. But like I think because Jamie exists, the fact that these alphas are out there and that they're like grotesque and like monstrous and kind of, they're just trying to live. I've kind of come around to it, but I will say, like, when I was watching it and they mentioned alpha, I was like, oh, come on. Like, we live in a world where men are out there like, I'm an alpha. And I'm like, first of all, those don't exist. Second, baby girl, no, you're not. So I get what he's saying. I was just like,
yeah. No, I wish it was like called something different. Then I would have definitely like immediately been like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can talk about it, right? Like in Men, as you mentioned, like it's the same thing. And Dex Machina, it's the same thing. It's like toxic masculinity and how damaging it is for society.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And how it hurts men too, like in the like it doesn't help them. It's like why do you do it? Because it's harmful to you, actually.
Like it's hurting Spike too. It hurts also Jimmy. Like Jimmy not knowing who the monster Jimmy Savile was going to be. Like because this all happened before the reveal of his true nature. So as far as he knew, child Jimmy, that was a person to look up to. Mm-hmm. You know, that is a person to masquerade as and aspire to be. And so it is kind of like this, like, you know, double-sided coin here of like, on one side, like he sees it as like, it's a good thing, but it is reflective of like, you know, we don't always get what's on the surface or what's beneath the surface and like what the truth might be and that it could actually harm you.
And the childhood is like they like preserved this understanding of the world and it was unaltered, like how time was frozen for them too, which is interesting. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is how Spike actually reacts. He could like follow up like his dad. It's like, well, my dad is good. Like he cheating on my my mom who is dying, right? But he decides to do the opposite. So like, I want to save my mom, and I think I love my dad because he loves his dad. But on the other hand, he said, well, I love my dad. Yeah, for sure. But I don't think if this is good. I have to save my mom or do whatever it takes. And we found something really interesting because we see like toxic masculinity versus like this kind of femininity, how do you call it? Like that protects and that cares. And we found these like zombie women whose like placenta protects a baby from the infection. Things that actually happens with AIDS. Some like kids that are born like for moms who had AIDS. Sometimes the kids are born completely well, even if they are surrounded by blood. They don't get AIDS because the placenta protect them. So this kid, this supposedly zombie kid is not a zombie because the placenta protects the kid. And we go to this like crazy trip with this crazy doctor who built a bone temple with the same memento mori. We all going to die, and they are not like monsters. They are human beings who are like sick and recognize them. So it is like a different kind of perspective from like the toxic men. And the guy who only sees like, well, we are dealing with human beings who are sick. Let's check what we can do for them.
Yeah, like the contrast between an intense lack of empathy and then like an extensive amount of empathy. Like the doctor really exists as like, I care about everyone, including these zombies, because like they were people at one point. And I remember, like I was watching the videos like Screen Crush and Amanda the Jedi, and that's something like they talked about was like just like this really big contrast between the doctor specifically and then like all the town like having a like love for violence and like a lack of empathy towards the dead, and then like and thinking like he's crazy, the doctor, when he was just really caring about like life as a whole. And like and then I feel like even Spike like has that kind of like softness to him that like makes him more empathetic and like caring about like both his mom but also just like the world as a whole, which I thought was like a really interesting contrast between the two. It was nice.
And the love for like humanity is so big that he built a temple. Maybe it's freaking and scary because it's built on bones. And it looks like
it's like macabre or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like a catacomb, but it's built out of love. It is complicated to explain it, because if you explain to someone, you're like, yeah, you're kind of crazy. But the thing is, it is a temple of love, and it is because he loves people, everyone, and they want to put them together where, like, to the thing that we know for certain, death. So that is how it is.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, like his kindness. Like when I felt like a lot for the film. It felt to me like there were some aspects of it that felt a little maybe amateur, and I wonder if that was like intentional, because we are exploring like this like youthful, like these youthful protagonists, and then eventually like Jimmy, who's going to be like eternally youthful, because they're like, especially with the existence of this doctor. When I first saw him and he had all the bodies, I was like, that man is not creepy. I was like, first of all, he is a doctor. He's containing. He's like, he's burning them. Virus, that's what you do. What the hell? And he's like waving. And I get like, the kids are going to be scared. And I did, I think it was really telling that Jamie and his friends like ran off from that it was really intimidating, that they can like blindly kill, but they can't like see them in a line, right? They can't see the expanse of this death.
Because if you recognize the humanity of it, it feels even more real and upsetting, and that's like kind of like why they wouldn't accept the mom's diagnosis a little bit too.
Yeah, they were definitely playing like, there was just kind of like a lot of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like the whole like hunter-gatherer like situation, the weird masks, and the like, it felt like they were playing at like Village like in a way, like, and I get like, that's how you like survive in some ways. I do feel like I don't know. I don't know if I 100% believe that's what would happen with a society in this situation. But I think one of my biggest things with the film that will just like, I think really keeps me from truly like adoring it is like, I felt periodically that the film was in trying to tell me what I should be feeling, like how I should be feeling about things, instead of just letting me feel things. Like there's several times in the film where I like texted Kat and I was like, this film wants me to be like really stressed right now, because like the music's going, it's doing the like flashing back and forth, and I totally get like what they're communicating, right? Like they're showing us all these young boys going to work. They're doing the boots, they're going to war. And then we're seeing this boy get, going out there. And I just like, please just let me have a minute with this boy and his dad going through the woods. And I think that would have been so much more impactful, but it was like such an assault of like sound and image and all of that, and it felt very much like they were like, feel stress, and I was like, I'm not stressed, like I'm really just trying to see what's going on. And it would happen a few times where I was like, I don't know, like you could use music better, or you could like ease me in, buy a girl a drink first, like what is going on here? And so some of that felt really like jarring. I also felt like I get the like fun action weird reverse shots every time they shot a zombie, and I was like, I get what they're doing because it's like fun and it's different, and but I was just like, what are we doing?
Shots were very much in the first film, so like
right. And I was like, sure, I get it, but it was just, it felt like so much, and it was just like just egregious in that way. And what I was thinking was like recently, like as I'm sitting here trying to like, think about this film, was Alex Garland is really well known for like very like ambiguous, like atmospheric, trippy things. Like when we think about Annihilation, as someone who's read the book, right, I talked very much about how he made Annihilation, he made the film script based on the feelings that he had when reading the book, right? So he's a very feelings person, feelings first, and he kind of pushes those out. And then I think coupled with something that, like you were saying, Eric, with like the humor and kind of the like irony of like, yeah, life sucks, shit's fucked right now, but you gotta laugh nonsense that Danny Boyle brings to the page made this like kind of like chaotic piece, which like that I totally understand why there is this like differing of opinion where some people are like, oh, this is the best movie I've watched this year. It's one of my favorites. It does a really great job for like the genre. And like, I hear them. And then I also understand the other side where I was like, I felt like my senses were assaulted. And I just like, it just felt awkward to me to be like in so many ways told what I should be feeling instead of me feeling it. And it was surreal to me, like at times where I was like, I'm supposed to be stressed right now. And I'm like, not, dude. Like, is something wrong with me? It's like, I'm not high. I'm pretty sure nothing's going on here.
Back in 2002, I remember from the the first film, I was super stressed when I watched it. And I watched it in my house. I watched it I rented in Blockbuster.
That one definitely holds up on the stress level for sure.
Yeah, the stress level is like overall the ending. The ending leaves you like here, like what the hell happened? Are they okay? Are they like what happened? They just shock you. But the thing is, I felt super stressed on the first film, and they want to replicate kind of like the formula, as you mentioned. They want you to feel stressed, and I feel it's not necessary because the parts with they talk with the doctor, and the doctor being this kind of like a religious figure. And really like an empath, and we are surrounded by empathic beings. Even the father, as it is, he feels empathy for his son and for a lot of people. But only for him. There is a big issue with her wife. I believe he's just a jerk. But otherwise, most of the people is really empathic towards the other, and you can notice they are nice. But yes, to push you and keep you, that may be a little thing to fix. And by the way, today, at the day that we're recording, they released a trailer for the sequel that is going to be in January. I'm really excited. Right now, it's directed by a woman, and Alex Garland repeats on the writing. Right? Yeah, the director is Nia Da Costa. Nia Da Costa worked in horror before. She works in the remake of Candyman. So I have like high hopes on this kind of sequel.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited. I
trust her.
Yeah, I was like, I'm interested to see what she does and like how the torch is passed. Like I'm like, what is she gonna do with Jimmy? Like I'm really interested in that. Like I saw a picture of her with him, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with this guy?
Gabe and I both realized today that the actor is Remick from Sinners, and I had no idea when he was on screen that is who that was.
Because he looks crazy.
And it was such news to me.
Which is great.
So I guess it's good that he gets more shine. Like, I think he's a villain, but like, I mean, still, he was a villain in Sinners too. But, I think it's cool that he'll probably get a lot more screen time in the next film.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how it goes, because I was like, where's Jimmy? After the beginning, I was like, is Jamie Jimmy? And then I was like, that's not. I was like,
and then we thought the guy in the beginning when he got his rite of passage when they're in the house with the guy hanging.
We thought that was Jimmy.
I thought that was Jimmy because it was written on his body.
Yeah, Jimmy's written. Yeah, because it's clearly like. And I do like that there's little nods, like you see like graffiti that says Jimmy, and there's also other characters too, like even just outside of that with like oh my god, what was the boy? I didn't have subtitles, so I couldn't. Eric, yes. Eric
the
being
soldier,
like, like the fact that he like shot in the gas in the gas station and it like exploded. It's like, boy, come on, and like. His girlfriend, which is like, he's like, what's wrong with her face? That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I will say like that moment was cute because it was just like to show, like, I thought it was really important to see that like the world has kind of moved on and let them just kind of exist.
Just let them suffer. Let them suffer in isolation. Like what?
Right. 28 years later is crazy. Like I think you can.
And that they're aware of them. They're just watching them to see like what happens like in a petri dish.
Right. And they're just like, if you end up there, you're screwed. But I think his like the fact that he grew up on the outside in the regular world, and he's supposed to be like this adult, right? Like he's still a kid, but he's an adult kid who has like is on his military trip, right? His little Rumspringa, and he's very like childish too. Like he's very like stunted in his growth. So it's like even out there they're doing that, and it like that was really like it was really interesting, and I think like. for me, one of the things I really loved about this film was honestly the trailer. I think that trailer was lit. I was like, I loved the boots. When it was in the trailer, I was living. I was like, yes, this is so exciting. And I thought it was just going to be a bit. I thought that was just to kind of like, I felt like that in itself, like in all the research that you would do when you hear boots, you're like, okay, what is that? Okay, it's a recording.
Yeah,
when the recording.
Yeah.
Why? What is it
it's
reflecting?
It's a poem, I believe, from World War II.
Yeah, and it's like it was performed. Yeah, and like all of that goes into it is really exciting. And then when it came up in the film, that was one of the first parts where I was like, oh, this is so aggressive. I really didn't want it to be here. Yeah. It's like, do something like Candyman where he had the like puppets, but they were like it didn't like take me out of the action to show me the puppets that we saw in the trailer. It was like an addition. Like that.
Yeah. That would be kind of cool. Well, we'll see. Maybe, like, I guess like in the sequel, it looks like it's a lot more focused on the doctor, which is exciting, and a lot more focused on the kids. Well, one is technically, a grown man, but the kids.
Yeah, the
Jimmy
child
and
man.
Spike, yeah. I think it's going to be interesting. I think once I cope with the Teletubby ninjas mentally, it just like was so jarring, but like I've come to appreciate it more now, like after like listening to other people talk about it and like also getting like more context. I like enjoy the like facts of the movie.
Right.
But I'm interested to see like where it goes from here. And like, I guess like the first movie, I don't know if they did it planning for a sequel. So it felt more like finite, where like they're doing this one with the knowledge that they have 3 movies in the rotation. Like they already filmed the second one, right? Like, is that real or just a trailer for it?
In the trailer, the movie is filmed. It's just wrap it up.
Yeah. So they knew all in that they had more time to unpack stuff that we wouldn't see the first one. So I guess that should be interesting.
Yeah, and depending on the success of the next movie, they are going to film another one. So I hope they have it is successful. It is funny. It is kind of original because they invent the fast zombies. There was no fast zombies before them. So I wanna see a little bit more of this. So I will enjoy it. I personally want to get the original Jimmy back because that's the funny thing about the name Jimmy. Jimmy was the original protagonist of the first movie.
Oh, his name was Jimmy?
Yeah.
I forgot that.
His name was Jimmy, too. I forgot about that as well, yeah.
The Cillian Murphy's character is called Jim. And there is a zombie that looks like Cillian Murphy, but is not Cillian Murphy. So they say
just the sharp features.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy is still out there, maybe. So I wanna look to the movie. I think I really enjoyed the first one, so I want to see a closure, but I want to know that Cillian Murphy is doing well. So
yeah, right. I for me, something I've been looking forward to with Nia DaCosta, and hopefully this is kind of like bringing us back to the first one as well, is like, honestly, first of all, I would like some final girls in here. Second of all, I would like some people of color. You cannot convince me that there's no people of color.
Like all of England and Ireland did not have a single BIPOC person.
That is false. That's false that they are not there. First of all, in the first one, our final girl, she's a Black final girl. She's one of the very few that we have out there. And she was really amazing. She was like badass. She was always like, she fought really hard to survive, but then she also fought really hard to preserve like her faith in humanity in the face of like humanity not showing up, right? Like she like the scariest part to me of 28 Days Later is the military base, is those men who immediately, it's been like 4 minutes and they're like we need to repopulate the earth. We want to repopulate there with this child and this random woman we found. It in like the reasoning and how fast they got to the reasoning, like that was always something that was scary.
It was only been 28 days. Like it has not even been a month, and they're immediately already like, we're not going to be people anymore. We're going to be the worst, horriblest version of people.
You have to give me like half a year before you start acting crazy like that. Like
it's like the person who's like, how long do we wait till cannibalism? Yeah.
A long time. Okay, we're waiting a long time. I don't think I'm ever doing it. But like I think like that was really important in that one. And so like to me, I really felt like I was noticing and feeling like the lack of melanin in here. But also just like, I did love the mom character. I loved that she was strong, even in the face of her illness, like that her like mama bear instincts kicked in. Like I appreciated that. But she did like genuinely have anime mom disease. Like she was this like, you know, like push for him to go on his discovery journey and become a better person. Like her death had to shape him, which is just like always makes me sad. Like essentially like you fridged his mom. And but I get what it like the overarching theme of it is like the loss still hits. Like when you exist in a world that's surrounded by death, like we are, like if you were in the middle of war, you are experiencing death all the time. And still when you lose those people that you love from something that's like would otherwise have been avoidable were he anywhere else, we are still going to be hit just as hard. And I think that loss is really important. It just like the fact that and then the only other woman we got is a zombie who who has her little humanity moment, and the lady who's like, if you leave, nobody's coming to get you. Like those are the ladies, right? And then the girl he's cheating with. Like we're failing the Bechdel test, first of all. We're failing the sexy lamp test a little bit too. Like, like if we swapped it out, if it wasn't his mom and it was somebody, like if it was his grandpa or something, like his, like I think he would care for anybody that was close to him enough to go there. And so like, I don't think it even had to be his mom. I think it's really sweet that it was. And that he felt that protection of her. I also think it's really sweet that she always thought he was her dad. And like, that she was like
ouch parentification, but also that's very sweet and cute.
It meant a lot to me that she had a great life, even in the midst of that she grew up in that time with someone who really took care of her and loved her. And I do love when she asked him, like, is your dad goofy? And he's like, no. And I was just like, oh, that's so sad. That's even sad. Like, talking about toxic masculinity, he's not even funny. That made me really sad. But yeah, I just like, I get it. We're talking about toxic masculinity. We're, you know, talking about men and shit. I get it. I just I'm trusting Nia with having some strong femme characters who aren't going to be set pieces or like just motivations for the male characters and some people of color. It doesn't even have to be a black girl. We don't have to have her back, right? It could be a black man. It could be a brown person. You know, it could be an Asian person. Like there are other people in Britain. It could be a Muslim person. Like if we're talking about religion and it's Britain, we can have some Muslims in there. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Anyway. That's my soapbox moment.
Or hope for Nia DaCosta to come through with that.
Girl,
I know in the trailer there was at least one blonde woman with an upside down cross on her head. That's the only
we get a weirdo.
Only one I saw.
Yeah, one of the Teletubbies is a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
Do they have to to follow the Teletubbies in all things? We'll find out. It was cool to see the way that the virus mutated in multiple ways, because like the whole thing was that the fast ones like starved to death too fast because they used too much energy. Their metabolism required too much food, so the virus mutated, and that's how we got the slow on the ground ones, because like they can survive longer,
or they were smart.
Exactly. So they had that like transition within the mutation of the virus. You got like the alphas from that. Maybe we'll get even more variations of that. But then also like the slow toast to the ground ones were also a mutation. So that's cool.
Last of Us.
It was mean that they were mean to them. But
I think there we will see more varieties of like of zombies. That's a good thing to see. And ideally, if there is, well, I'm pretty sure this is not the end. And I'm optimistic the movie goes out in January, so we don't have to wait that long. We just have to wait about like 4 months from the one that we saw recently. So it's cool. I remember like it's like the Lord of the Rings with zombies. So let's go. They have the luck to film the tier movie, and they get a good director. And I was checking the cast when we discussed how many women. No, I don't see a lot of women, even if it's directed by Nia DaCosta. so far at least in the IMDb, like it doesn't show like a big,
She's
like
killing
a big
me.
thing. But
I'm gonna look them up.
maybe if we're talking about a problem, that might be the problem. We need a little bit more balance.
And I like, again, I get like sometimes that's intentional, but it's like, come on, it's 2025. It will be 2026. This film comes out, and you're telling me we don't have any.
It's
like,
2025, and look who's in charge.
In 2002, we
Yeah.
had her. We had, what's her name? Selena, I think it was. Like, why are we going backwards? And I know why we're going backwards, but we don't have to go backwards, everybody. We can keep going.
Okay, I see 10 people, and it looks like 1, 2 are femme, but there's only 10 cast people so far. Yeah, there's only 10 cast people so far.
Hold on. There was a person of color, and you
Yeah.
know who it was?
The
It was
alpha.
the
Samson.
alpha. Okay, what are you? Okay, the big beastly man. That's a monster. It's the one person. Like, come on, what are you doing to me? What are you? I was like, I looked at him. I was like, why does he look like that? Like, all the people you've been showing me tell me they can't be an alpha. That's just some white man. Are you kidding me? And I get it. Everyone's a villain, but like, anyway, I don't think it's gonna be passing the Bechdel test. But last thoughts on this film that we want to leave people with.
I thought it was cool that it was shot with iPhones some of the time. Like that was kind of neat.
I will say more or less. I don't believe it is shot with the iPhone is the brain of the camera, but it is not there. I remember the scene where they are running back to the city with the stars. That is not possible to shoot with an iPhone. There is like a huge camera.
I think they had other cameras too, but
that
I think
looks like
sometimes they use iPhone.
IMAX thing, and it's like this could be an IMAX, not shot with an iPhone. The problem the brain of the cameras might be an iPhone, but it's not the iPhone camera. It is processed with the iPhone processor probably, but no, there are shots that it's like that's impossible. Yeah, and if it is, well, let's buy like 20 iPhones. But no, I don't think so.
As someone who's about to start filming a miniseries with iPhones, I'm genuinely very excited to see what we could cook up. And I think it's like, it's crazy that our technology has it. But I think like, it was like with the...
Yeah, they had like a real camera too.
Like the original and how, they were... that kind of edgy, like
cameras.
Found footage almost.
Grainy.
Which, I'm a sucker for found footage. I think, 28 Days Later will always be one of my favorite horror movies, and it's always like at the top when you're thinking about zombies. I do not think 28 Years Later is going to be up there for me. But I have come around to understanding.
Yeah, I believe there is hope in the next movie. The fact that Nia DaCosta is going to be directing, that might be a good call. So let's check it out for the next one. I don't believe I don't like it. What it kind of like take me a little bit off, it was the ending with the Jimmys and the Teletubby ninjas. It's kind of like, what?
It was very jarring.
This looks like a different movie. But outside of that, I believe there might be a good thing. The ideas that are there, I like them. There is not the same thing as the original. The original is crazy, and it is impactful, and it freaks me out back then. But I think let's watch it with the other, and maybe we can complete the other side of the coin.
As like a compilation together. I think that's smart.
Yeah,
next time we cover it, we'll watch them back to back and see what comes of it.
Yeah, we'll have you back to talk about with the next one, so that we can kind of expand on. Like, we'll pretty much just watch this episode and be like, did we get what we were hoping for, or are we mad again?
We can shoot it like documentary style or like reality TV show style, or we get like the clips. Yeah,
we can make these confessionals between. I really thought no. I think I have watched videos of people who really liked it, and I was like, I'm glad you really liked it.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Some things aren't with us personally as an audience, the intended audience, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's
I love that other people loved it. I love that for them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to yuck their yum.
And I mean, I think it's always exciting when directors can really just be their weird selves and they're not like held back. And I felt like I did really feel like that genuine, like artistic lens from both
Garland
and Boyle. Like it was, they were playing. Like I was watching them play. I was like, they're playing around.
That's
like
fun.
someone gave
Let
these
them do
people
that.
a camera and they ran around. And I think we should be giving more people cameras to run around with.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's what I'm excited for, is like, you know, what else can we do? So I think it'll be like, I think it says a lot that they trust Nia DaCosta with like their baby. You know, they saw how it went awry last time. And so I think it says a lot. I think they feel they trust her to keep the same whimsy. Teletubby ninjas. What a choice. They were so weird. I was like, this movie's still going.
Yeah,
I was expecting him to walk off into the sunset.
Kind of like the end of the Lord of the Rings, like when it's going to like actually be the end. It's so
yeah, they're like, and then that's happened.
I think it would have been really good as like, I think someone else said this in one of the videos I was watching, but I think it would have been really good as an after credits scene, because then you would have had like a break before it and it would have felt less jarring. And that would have been such an easy editing thing that they could have done that would have like been a nod to the sequel. But like without it being like, what the heck is happening? I have been transported into another world. So it probably would have been better as that, but it's okay.
I will say personally, as someone who always has to pee, I hate after credit scenes.
Yeah.
I hate after credit scenes. Stop making me sit here. I gave you enough time. You gave me the runtime. That's it. Stop trying to steal more of my time. I gotta go pee. So I hate Marvel. I hate Marvel for doing that to me. And now I have to look every time. I'm like, does this have a freaking after credits? And is it worth my time? That's another thing.
All right, well, we're talking crap though. Sinners had after credits and they were great.
They were worth my time. There was something I watched recently and it was not worth my time and I was really pissed off and I can't remember.
Oh, the after credits?
Oh, I haven't watched
it. The Naked Gun credits are gold.
I believe that because that's another one of they're just having fun.
Yeah.
Like you just goof off and like talk about whimsy. They're just silly.
Yeah, the credits start showing things that doesn't have any sense. If you read the credits, like that's actually really funny.
Yeah. When people when it feels like intentional, or it's like I remember back in the day with like certain like kids movies, like I think Toy Story did it, where they would have like bloopers for the toys, and they would like mess up what they were saying, and it was cute. Like that's cute. Okay, that's fun. I am down for that.
Yeah, give me some bloopers. I miss that. I hope they do it again. That's we're going back into the 90s. Like the whole film was very much like placed forever in the 90s. Like the kids are that, and then also like the world. I think that would have been so fun if we had bloopers at the end to like as an homage to the 90s.
Right.
That's
and
what
they
I
turn
want now.
like starring this person, like that would be really fun. Before we sign off, Eric, can you tell our listeners about your show and where they can find you?
Yes, right now I have a show, Cinepamina. Well, mostly you can like Google Cinepamina and go to YouTube. I would love to have you there. Actually, it helped me, like you subscribe to YouTube. You helped me a lot to grow up this project. But I produce like a lot for Instagram, and I collaborate with a lot of colleagues around the world, with directors, other like content creators. I just go back to back, but I am like what I'm producing right now with the StreamYard, and I go live on YouTube. I put it on Filicam, and I'm interviewing directors for movies that I like, or people who is running festivals. Recently, I had the chance to interview the directors from Etreum, that is a horror film festival that is Argentina and Colombia, and
very cool.
And the director from Macabro. Macabro is the horror film festival of Mexico City. It has been really good, and while I have the chance to cover Macabro with some friends back in Mexico were covering Macabro, and I had the chance to connect with a couple of directors. It was a really funny movie from that festival. That's on Tubi because in the United States the distribution is over and it's already on the streaming platforms. There is a movie about succubi. It's interesting. I believe there are not a lot of things on succubis, and that also talks about toxic masculinity and how put us in in a vulnerable position. It's an interesting movie. It is fun, but it's really interesting because our movie people and our directors are really approachable, and actually I had a really good experience with great directors. Actually, one of my latest interviews was with the director of Legions. A great director, Argentina director, really good movie. I got the chance to interview Damien Rugna when Evil Lurks. Great movie. And the director of Legions and Damien Rugna work together. They work along. And the director of Legions recently was part of a zombie anthology called Retratos del Apocalipsis, which is a compilation of zombie stories, but there are funny things happening in there, and the different directors put a different perspective. I like it. It was funny. So you're welcome. Follow me on Instagram. I also appear at Cinepamina. Please be around. I will love to have you, and I will love to have a chance to interview more people and talk about movies. I love it.
Yeah, no, I always appreciate, that you're able to chat with people. And like I said, I think horror, because people are having fun with horror and they're doing crazy stuff and just, things that also matter to them, that you get some of the most real, genuine people. You're not getting just these I don't know. Some directors could be really they're on a different level. Yeah. And you're oh, how dare I talk to you? But I've never had that problem.
Horror directors are not that.
Right, with horror. And also some documentarians too are pretty chill. It depends who you're talking to.
Funny thing, I used horror as a coping mechanism because I was working for human rights, and I used to see some horrific things that happened back in Mexico. I'm from Mexico, if you don't know. But I watch in human rights, oh, this is not nice. So let's watch a horror movie just to try to, make it dissolve. Because sometimes horror movies, when they are absurd, when you see a lot of guts and you see gore, but the gore, when you see the gore in a horror movie, it's that's more blood that it can be in a human body. That's ridiculous. For example, one of my favorite zombie movies is Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead it is fun. It is just having fun and laughing about how absurd we are as human beings. Or the old movies Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. I love them. And
the blood fountains and just really over the top gore is really fun.
Yeah, it is just a way for me to chill out. I was watching yesterday the Alien series, and my wife was gonna be, how you can watch that before sleeping? To help me to sleep. I don't have no issue at all with this. You know what scares me the most? Politics and war.
Right.
That's it.
What's happening right now outside?
Yeah. Going to the
start reading the news.
Let the aliens come.
Please,
come from space and handle
talk about alien. That's real critical of our current world and the new season. Society. We're definitely gonna have to talk about this new series, Kat, because it's definitely up. I mean, it's aliens, of course. It's in a ghouls kind of situation, but it will be really interesting to talk about, given it's coming out during Trump's presidency. I think that's really important too. Which is, I just think we're going to see some really interesting things in the next coming years. As people are trying to fight back against a lot of the censorship and the suppression of information and just the horrors and fears and anxieties that we are continuing to grow just from it's month 9 that we're recording this, month 10 that you're listening to it, and it's still exhausting, right? So I imagine in the next few years, the things that have come up that are being written now
really
we're going to
good.
be in a nice horror renaissance. I knew when the pandemic came around, I was like, oh, we're about to get a horror renaissance in a few years. And we did. We got some really awesome stuff. So I'm like, whenever like shit gets bad, I'm like, oh, we're going to get some good stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to get some
good critique.
People are
films.
feeling it, and we're going to get to feel it together and have that catharsis. We're going to be able to like work through it and get an ending, or be able to laugh things off, or, you know, just feel we can kind of separate ourselves from some of those things and escape to a world where it's like where harm is like kind of silly or is distant from us versus like right outside our door. But yeah, I hope folks definitely check out Cinepamina, and like we have linked before some of the episodes, but we'll happily share again. The Ghouls are kicking up a film themselves, so we will be on your show to talk about that when it drops.
Yeah, of course. I will love to have you.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's super silly and sad. That's kind of like our thing.
Yeah.
You know, I love silliness. I believe that helped me kind of like chill out. I believe I enjoyed The Naked Gun a lot. And because it was super silly, it doesn't have like any kind of thing. So just let's kind of like chill out, and we don't be that serious at all.
Yeah. Kat's always saying, you know, to have some whimsy, right? We need more whimsy in our life.
We sure do.
Go frolic. Drink a fruity drink. I don't know. Do something we need happiness right now. But thank you again so much, Erick, for joining us and for chatting about this film. Like, we learned a lot just like chatting with you, and happy to like uplift the work that you do, and hopefully people will tune in. Definitely leave us a comment of maybe your favorite episodes that Erick has done, some directors that maybe you want Erick to interview. Let us know what you think about 28 years later. 28 days later, weeks, all of it, and what you really want to manifest in the film that is already completed pretty much. But, you know, wishful thinking. We're going to put it out there in the world, and somehow it will have happened. And always like and subscribe, and don't get married.
Delete your kids. Or your kids will be parents.
Oh yeah, your kids will. Yeah. Well, hopefully they don't eat your kids because they're zombies. But hopefully you're not eaten either. Because then your kid is like stuck. You know. It sucks. She was not. Why'd she have all those kids? Like, I'm trying to figure out why she had all those kids. Like, why were there so many kids in that house?
The very beginning.
Yeah, there was a lot of kids. I guess it's just
like the neighborhood kids. Maybe it's just like the neighborhood kids.
She did not do a good job.
Like
those
in
are
the
all
credits,
her kids.
they are all brothers. The only kids on the Teletubbies, they are all brothers. They are no siblings.
Oh,
that's crazy.
The father has like a lot of kids.
That's crazy. And I feel like this mom did not do a good job. Like, I would not be outside of the room of my babies. Like, and then I'm not like, move. Let me watch them.
She sacrificed herself to try to let him run.
Right, but she was doing a lot.
I hear you.
Like, I just feel like I could like. She was moving like she already knew it was over, and that was weird to me. Like, she was set. Like, what were they gonna do? Like, you die, and then what happens to those kids? Like, I just was like, I get it. It's stressful. Nobody knows how they're gonna react in such a situation. But it's like, first of all, you gotta like kids. Second of all, you're not doing nothing for these kids sitting in front of Teletubby while they're zombies. I don't know, but
you gotta keep them calm, you know.
Well, don't do that. Don't make any jimmies.
Don't bring more jimmies to the wall.
Yeah, no more jimmies. Let's have some more Spikes. He was sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Spike. Spike was good.
We are pro Spikes.
Yes. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.